Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another one! Another one!
Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three in.
He hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It is Friday, and that should make everybody happy. Looks like it's a beautiful day out there once again. What is the forecast? I have not even looked to see what it's going to be today, but it looks like it is going to be spectacular. It was yesterday, that's for sure, as we had the Never Lose Hoop golf outing, Jordan Hulls Foundation. It was an absolutely spectacular day, a spectacular turnout, a spectacular event. It was awesome, and many of you are to be thanked. It was just a great day, and I do want to thank the great folks, Tracy Courier, who I spoke with at Old National Bank, Mike Ross with the WOW Network, Amy Mungle from Cook Medical. Those three people made just such a big deal to this. It was awesome. But of course, people like Forrest, Jennifer brought an entire team up, and they played pretty well. I tell you, I was impressed. They were 5 over, but a team of 4. This is not an easy course, so I think that was a good day. Plenty of others as well. Sam Joaquin, Pete. I don't want to forget anybody. I'll get to them, but I got to get the pictures for everybody. So we'll get all that stuff. We've got some pictures to load up today to show you, but just a few. Thanks again, Forrest. Michael's jumping on here. 102 down there in South Georgia. Woo, that's a little much. It was not that yesterday here, baby. It was beautiful. It was just 80s, I think like a high of 86. Today's only going to be a high of 88. So the humidity stayed down yesterday. That was incredible. It's going to be down again today. So once again, an incredible night tonight. So, and looking over the forecast through next Wednesday, man, we're looking pretty good. Pretty good. Can't complain. So I'm not gonna. The NBA draft kicked off last night. We found out who the Pacers are going to take and who everybody else was going to take. Little change at the top. Not a lot. Jaden Ivey goes 5th instead of 4th. Keegan Murray moved up. Not surprising at all. There for a second, it looked like the Pacers may had a shot at getting him. Jennifer said her ringer had a bad day yesterday, but they had lots of laughs and fun for a great cause. And I gave myself plenty of laughs with my shots. So and I don't know how you can get hurt playing golf, but I've got a busted up ankle. We're pulling up to one of the holes, and I was anticipating stepping out of the cart. My driver wasn't paying attention and ran us into the curb, and it completely turned my ankle underneath the cart. And I was like, oh my God. But I got past it yesterday, but I should have iced it down when I finally got done last night, because this morning when I woke up, it was like, where are you going? Not walking. Sitting here with an ice pack on my ankle, but funny stuff. Larry Sims, how are you, buddy? Appreciate you. Jumping on here as well. There's Jeffrey Wickens. It is Friday. That's right. Ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock if you want to roll. There we go, baby. Love it. It's that time of week. Dylan Sin, not sure if he's going to make it today, but Alec Lasley will be along. Zach Osterman will be along. So we've got plenty to talk about. There's basketball this weekend up at the Charlie Hughes that will be happening. Jordan Hulls is going to be on the recruiting trail this weekend already. So that didn't take him long. Had a great talk with him yesterday. We'll talk more about that. As man, you can tell he is in tip-top shape as he is fresh off of playing basketball. He is in probably better shape than he's ever been in his life. I gotta say, Jalen Hood-Schifino, we're going to hear from him as well as he met with the media yesterday. Indiana's newest, one of Indiana's newest freshmen. See what he had to say. First time for the really, other than when I went down and saw him back last winter, but he hasn't. This is his first time meeting with the media, the IU media. So there's that. Michelle jumping on. Jalen Hood-Schifino was ready. She said, like listening to his interview yesterday. Well, that's a good sign. But I've told you all along, Jalen Hood-Schifino is not your typical freshman. And I'm not going to say it's indicative of everybody that's going to come out of Montverde, but I can tell you this, just, when I went down there talking to him, talking to his mom, he's already ready for the media. He's already ready for that. He's going to be a freshman that plays like a sophomore, in my opinion. Now he's got to get the new team acclimated to the new team, new offense, yada, yada, yada. But as far as play, as far as mental, the mental capacity to handle it, I don't see that being an issue at all. So we'll hear from him. Looking forward to it. Also, that's right. We'll talk about Arch Manning heading to Texas. Not a big shocker there. We'll talk about that. Joe Carter's playing down at Old Capitol in Corydon. He's going to get him 18 in. Nice little course down there on the former state capital of Indiana, by the way. That's a nice little course tucked away out in the middle of nowhere. It's just I guess it would be east of Corydon. Yeah, just before you get into Corydon on 62 there, down there in southern Indiana. Nice little hidden gem. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wish I was joining you, man. I haven't played that course for a few years, but it's going to be a great one to get out to do whatever you want to do, not just today, but all weekend up in Indianapolis. The Charlie Hughes shootout is happening. Talk to Alec. We'll talk to, Alec's going to join us to talk about that. He'll be up there to cover that. So that's going on. So plenty to get to. Hope you guys are having a great day. Tim's headed to Nolan Lake for the weekend. I'm going nowhere. I'm going to nurse this ankle. It did hurt, man. It did hurt. IU Artifacts. Mention them too. The if you see them on Twitter, I wish that I would have got. I don't know his name, so if you happen to hear this, but he donated some stuff. He was there. He played in the event yesterday as well, but donated some stuff to the auction. One of which was a pretty daggone cool piece of memorabilia. It was a piece of the assembly hall floor that they played on for the 76 team, not just that team, but like right a little bit before, a little bit afterwards. I forget the exact specs of how many games were played, but I think 2 Big Ten titles were won on that floor. The national championship team played on that floor. So very, very cool thing. So a lot of great support for Never Lose Hoop yesterday. So it was awesome. It was a record, Forrest. Forrest commented it was. But yeah, great day, man. There's a big picture of Jordan Hulse. Beautiful, looking great. But yeah, man, it was so fun. You guys have to make sure you next year it will be much better planned out for a couple of reasons. Number one, Jordan will be back. This is the first year they had been able to have this in 3 years because of COVID. Jordan being gone first, and then they tried to have it, but COVID hit, and so it's back, baby. It's back. So Indiana is hosting 2024 in-state wing Canaan Catchings for a visit. Where that was yesterday. We'll talk to Alec about that. He's one of the up-and-comers in the state, one of the young guys. Actually, he's 2024, so not that far away, but still 2 years. So we'll talk about him as well as everybody else that's going to be up in Indianapolis for the Charlie Hughes, because that's a big deal. There's, I think, most of the big guys in the state will be there. I think Xavier Booker is going to be playing there as well. So we haven't been able to see him here locally of late, but that'll be a good opportunity for that. So looking forward to that and getting you all caught up on that. I'm glad I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad I'm not going to be in a gym this weekend because it's going to be too nice. But that's where some of our guys are going to be, because that's what you got to do. How about Arch Manning going to Texas? Not as big surprise. Doing his own thing. I wonder what I really want to know. And I just saw an article too. So how do they landed him? But I'm like, all right, I'd like to know the NIL deals for Arch Manning at Texas. It has to be sweet. Wyatt's getting out at the Country Oaks in Montgomery after work today, playing some golf. But yeah, I'd like to know the NIL situation for Arch Manning. He is probably the highest profile recruit. I don't know. I don't want to say ever, but you hate to say ever on anything, but man, with his dad, his uncle, his grandfather, and being as prolifically rated as he already is, I don't know that anyone has had any more pub coming out than Arch Manning. Now, he's got a lot of footsteps to fill. That puts a lot of pressure on you. And then when your dad, your uncle, or I guess is this Cooper Manning's? This is Cooper Manning's kid, isn't it? So actually, it's his two uncles and his grandfather. I believe that's Cooper Manning's son, right? Check me if I'm wrong on that. Steve Ward checking in on the Andy Moore Honda hotline. How are you, Steve? Where is Steve from? I don't know that I have you in the book. Got to find that out and get you in the book, man. But yeah, isn't Arch Manning Cooper Manning's son? I believe that is the case, but
here we go. The family's quarterbacking legacy is set to continue with Arch Manning, the grandson of Archie and nephew of Peyton and Eli.
There you go. So that's Cooper's son. Yeah, Cooper. See, Cooper's their brother, who I think he was a receiver in college, but that's as far as he went. He's been on. they had him on when they were doing the what's the sports book commercials with The dude that was on Larry David show, JB Smoove, when he's playing Caesar. John, you with me?
Oh, I didn't know you were asking me. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, he's got when they were doing all those commercials with the Mannings, and he's got Cooper. He's like, hey, man, Cooper. He said something about Cooper. Anyway, it's just funny.
Right.
But yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm gonna look into that. But we've got lots more to get to here. NBA draft, basketball all weekend. Alec is going to join us next to talk about the recruiting side of things here on Indiana Sports Beat. Brought to you by our great friends from Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and the Wow Club and the Wow Network, and all of the restaurants a part of that, including BB's Market. BB's Market is your local meat shop, steakhouse, and caterer, no matter where you live, with some of the best custom meats around. Visit bbsmarket.com. Also, make sure you go to your Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Join the Wow Club for us. It helps us tremendously. They are a proud sponsor of IU Athletics and a sponsor of ours, obviously. Help those who help us bring this content to you. We've got lots more coming up. Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com is going to get you updated on recruiting over the weekend. Back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting...
Morning.
Wearing a backwards hat.
Look at what shirt are you wearing?
Alec looks like Fred Durst. That's the closest you'll ever look like to Fred Durst right now.
You?
Him.
Am I sitting too low? Is the camera too low? Maybe my camera.
I need to get a photo of Fred Durst real quick. You know who Fred Durst is, right, Alec?
Nope.
There you go. Can you see my shirt better now?
You ever heard of Limp Bizkit?
Yeah. No,
you don't know. Wait a minute. You don't know who Fred Durst is? God, these kids today, man.
He's older than me. How do I know who Fred Durst is? And he doesn't.
Stop.
Wait, there's no way I look like him. Absolutely not.
All right.
We're gonna pull it up for fun.
You don't look like him. But anyway, I don't know if I want to embarrass Keegan on the show or not. But yesterday he was playing with Matt Roth, and it took him 14 holes.
Yeah.
Did he tell you the whole?
Yeah, he texted me that after the fact.
That's not the worst of it. All right,
Alec, you just need a gold chain or something. Sorry, I know I'm interrupting the conversation.
He introduced himself to someone next to me, and I punched him in the arm and said, "Hey, it's Kyler." I'm getting all these stupid names mixed up. It's Keegan Nixon with thehoosier.com. Don't forget. And he's, oh yeah. And then later he's telling me the story. I said, "Oh, tell me you didn't say Keegan with thehoosier.com this time." He said, "Yeah, I did." He said, "Yeah, I did." I'm like, "Oh man!" But then I was talking to Matt afterwards, and we were laughing about it.
Yeah, he said he was just so focused on playing. He told me about some of the shots he hit, and stuff like that. And then he's like, "Yeah, just kind of hit me on like hole 14. This isn't just some normal Matt." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Well, he was bombing it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't understand. Athletes are incredible. Trust me, you can always tell. But yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I was like shaking my head. Oh, fun! But it was a great day, fun day. Sorry you couldn't make it out, man.
Well, I know I was supposed to get in. What's today? Friday, so Wednesday night, and then they canceled my flight due to weather when there was no weather whatsoever.
Wow.
Who are you flying?
Delta.
See, that's why
Wow.
you gotta. You know what?
No, everything United. There were it was like from 4:30 to like 9 p.m.
10 seconds.
Almost all those flights were canceled. Indiana is hosting Carolina.
Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. It is Friday here at the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. It's a beautiful one on top of that. Jim Coyle with you as always. Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com joining me now. Plenty to talk about coming up this weekend. Recruiting the Charlie Hughes. But before we get to that, the big news coming out that many of us thought was going to happen, and that is going to be the case. Indiana is going to be hosting the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill for the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Alec, that is going to be another top A-plus game for Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going into this summer, over the last month, I think everyone kind of figured that's what the matchup was going to be like, with everyone coming back for North Carolina off of a national championship game appearance there. And then you get the news Trace Jackson Davis is coming back, Grace Thompson's coming back. You add obviously the incoming freshman for Indiana, a team that's supposed to not only compete at the top of the Big Ten, but goes into this offseason as the favorite in the Big Ten, going up against the favorite in the ACC, if not one of the favorites to win the entire thing next year in North Carolina, especially with the addition of Pete Nance. So, this is, we finally know it. It's obviously going to be a phenomenal matchup, a really fun matchup. IU seems to have Carolina's number when it comes to ACC Big Ten Challenge the last few years that they've played in Bloomington. So should be a really good game, should be a really intense game, really, really great environment that I think a lot of the fans are going to be extremely excited for, especially coming off of, Kansas, coming off of Arizona, and going right into basically another Final Four type matchup, right, when you look at it. So Indiana's going to be tested early. We knew that. Now we're starting to see exactly who they play. I think this will be a nice home game for them after a very tough few road games to kind of kick off the season. But this is exactly what Mike Woodson wanted, was to bring these types of games back to Bloomington, bring Indiana back to the national spotlight. And he's surely done that in these first, month and a half to 2 months of this upcoming season with the matchups that they're going to be in.
The thing that is amazing to me is how quickly he's been able to not just do one thing, but there have been a lot of things checked off already. You go back to making the tournament, beating Purdue, all that stuff that we talked about last year. That's a lot of boxes there. The recruiting, bam, turning around. Now the schedule. And man, are they going to be tested early? And it's a test that they're going to have to, they don't have to ace it, but they have to pass it, because if you were to really get dinged, that would be bad for the confidence going into the conference season, I would imagine.
I mean, yes and no. Obviously, you can't go out there and lay an egg against all three of these teams. And in the Gavitt games, which we should find out, in the next week here, if not sooner. So you can't go out and go, for when it comes to those games. But at the same time, Mike Woodson is trying to get this team ready for the Big Ten, trying to get this team ready for the NCAA tournament. Indiana's still going to have some pieces to kind of mix in early in the season. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them struggle to get going, but show those flashes that I think everyone's expecting come season's end. Whereas a North Carolina team obviously returning basically every key member of their team last year, obviously have to add in Pete Nance and kind of see what that role is going to look like replacing Brady Manick. But that is a matchup that you want as Indiana. You want to go up against a lot of these top nationally recognized programs who are going to be good early in the season, who are going to be good in the middle of the season, and most importantly, are going to be good at the end of the season. Not only to obviously boost that resume, but let's let's hope Indiana doesn't need any sort of resume boosting when it comes to the selection show in March. But Indiana is facing three of the top teams in the country and are going to go headfirst into these matchups every single year. And Indiana just needs to compete. They need to obviously win a couple of those games, but they don't need the world is not going to collapse if they lose two of those three games, right? Unless they get absolutely run off the floor, which I don't envision happening. Indiana just needs to get the confidence that, one, they are that team in the Big Ten that can compete against all these nationally recognized teams and be able to do so consistently. And this is the first start for them.
Well, and we can't forget there's going to be a fourth addition to this schedule, and it could potentially be Villanova with the Gavitt games against the Big East opponent. So, but the schedule that they have been able to put together is incredible, and then it adds another element to it: the sheer fact that Indiana is going to be. These are all going to be nationally televised games. These are going to be primetime. The North Carolina game that could be a primetime nighttime game. The Saturday games obviously are probably going to be afternoon games, but still, these are games that people are going to watch. These are brands. These are the brands that people want. Indiana, Kansas, Indiana, Arizona, and Indiana, North Carolina. They want that stuff, especially when they're good. It's what people want, and Indiana can do themselves a gigantic favor. The recruiting obviously has jumped miles, but you do well on TV. Recruits are watching these games. These players are watching these games. They're fans like everybody else. So they're also watching these games, and you beat teams. You go into Kansas and beat Kansas. That's going to get you attention from a lot of people, including future recruits.
Yeah. And honestly, just for the success of this team, you go into Kansas, you win that game. Even if you don't win that game, that's just an experience that's going to be their first true road game for these freshmen. What better way to kick off your first true road game than at Allen Fieldhouse, which is obviously one of the best arenas in all of college basketball, if not in all of basketball. You get kind of introduced to the college basketball world immediately. So we're going to see what these freshmen are made of, which I think we all know that they're pretty ready for the moment, but we're also going to see what this team does when they get kind of punched in the mouth. We saw last year they were able to respond, but we saw that they got punched too often in the mouth, either right at the beginning of the game or right at the start of the second half. And if you do that against some of these bigger programs in North Carolina or a Kansas or in Arizona, you're not going to be able to come back from a lot of those games. As good as the Big Ten was last year, as good as they are consistently, Kansas and North Carolina traditionally are obviously in a different realm than most of those Big Ten programs when it comes to high level success in the NCAA tournament. And so these are the matchups you want year in and year out, and these are just going to benefit them when they do get into Big Ten play, and they do face a deficit, or they are writing 3 games in 5 days and they need to dig a little bit deeper. These are the games and the moments that they're going to kind of reflect back on and be able to take from and build from moving forward.
And in addition, before this, they would not have been prepared. They would not have been ready, and it may have been a bad move for Indiana to have these guys on the schedule last year, because it would not have been, or the year before especially, probably would not have been a good result. They just weren't there yet. Now they've got the mix and a team that most of us think is going to be competitive at pretty much any level. We'll certainly find out, but this is a team that I think will be able to go in and compete with those guys. They've got new elements. They've got people like Jalen Hood-Schifino, who we'll hear from in the next segment, but they've got pieces that they did not have before that is going to allow them to competitively play these type of teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what Mike Woodson wanted to do, right? He knew to get back to taking Indiana to win Big Ten championships, to make Sweet 16s, Final Fours, and everything like that. He needed to improve the roster. He needed to get freshmen who could come in and play immediately and really build up that depth and and not so much just the depth, but the talented depth that we've been talking about. And we've now seen in these first few weeks of summer workouts that how intense the workouts are, how talented this team is. We've heard it from a few different people from top to bottom, and how talented that freshman class is. And, you look at what Mike Woodson has been able to do in such a short period of time when it comes to getting high level prospects into the Indiana program. And what you touched on, obviously playing these games is just another recruiting tool, but winning these games eventually is what ultimately gets these guys to come to Indiana without you really having to do much recruiting at all. These are what these high level recruits want to play in. Game in and game out, you already get that for the most part in the Big Ten. Now you move out of conference and playing these big games, and it's just an additional tool that Mike Woodson now has in his pocket that honestly he doesn't really have to use all too often based off of the success that he's had on the recruiting trail up to this point.
And two things that we haven't mentioned. Number one, no pun intended, North Carolina currently listed as the preseason number one by some people. So there's that. Indiana's going to be playing a number one team potentially if they're still number one. And both Mason Williams from the Hoosier.com points out that both of the participants in last year's national championship game are on Indiana's schedule. So you talk about really ramping it up. That just continues to add to that. Indiana's playing the reigning national champion and the team that could have been a national champion. So that, again, getting back into those conversations, having Indiana in those conversations, it's so important because they haven't been there for a long, long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get Trace Jackson Davis, Armando Bacot. You have the really talented backcourts now of Xavier Johnson, Jalen Hood-Schifino going up against Caleb Love and RJ Davis. And kind of the storyline that a lot of people probably have either forgotten about or just haven't realized, but you get two Northwestern teammates in Miller Kopp and Pete Nance now going up against each other. So a lot of really good storylines in that one, obviously, outside of just two historically great programs playing each other in obviously Assembly Hall. You can't get too much better than that. So we got a long ways to go before we get there. A lot of time before the season starts, but you're starting to get back into raising those expectations that everyone now has for Indiana, not only locally and regionally, but also nationally. And I think that's the biggest thing for Indiana. Now they just have to go out, compete, and win these games, and build on the success and the momentum that Mike Woodson has brought to Bloomington in the last 12 to 16 months.
Yeah, and so we're looking, and it's and think about the fans. Not that they need much. The Indiana fans have been like it's a forest fire waiting to be started, and all it took is just one little spark. And every time when Indiana's been going through these lulls of not being Indiana, the fans, they never went away. It may not have been as loud, but the minute they come back, you talk about the fan support just exploding. So next fall is going to be absolutely, I think, pandemonium with this team. As you see people already excited now, I think they need to quell that excitement a little and hold your expectations. But hey, get all excited as you want, man. I mean, do it. There's a lot to be excited about. They haven't had much to be this excited about for such a long time, but they have a chance to be great. But we don't know how good they're going to be until we see them on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they do start winning some of these games early next season, well, it'll be really interesting to see how it translates into the start of Big Ten play, into the heart of Big Ten play, because this team really has not experienced a lot of that success. You win two of those games, this team's already going to be ranked going into the season. That now you're looking at a potentially top 10 team in Indiana going into the heart of Big Ten play. A spot that this program has not been in a very long time. So being able to win is one thing. They showed a little bit of that last year, but being able to build off of those wins and build off of that momentum and not get too high is something that this team and this program has not really dealt with in a very long time. So it'll be interesting to see all the kind of variables that go into this upcoming season for Indiana, a season that I think a lot of people are expecting, obviously a lot of good things to come from. But at the same time, this team still needs to go out there and take care of business and be able to take those expectations and be able to still win games.
Absolutely. We've got to take a quick break. We've got more coming up. We're going to hear from Jalen Hood-Schifino. Alec Lasley from the Hoosier.com's with me right now. Brought to you by our good friends at Southern Stone Restaurant here in Bloomington, located on the corners of Patterson and Rogers. Make sure you stop in and have an incredible meal of Southern food with a Southern flair. All part of the WOW Club. Make sure you go to the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, and sign up for the WOW Club. Start earning dining discounts and more today. Support those who support you. A proud sponsor of IU Athletics. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
The sun is out. The bird. Oh, anything else happening besides that we got to talk about the NBA draft?
Yeah. Charlie Hughes, which we'll be at, and then obviously the Canyon Catching's unofficial this what's today, Friday, so Wednesday. But yeah, still a live period, so the coaches will be out this weekend again.
Jordan will be up there recruiting this weekend.
Yeah, he should be at Charlie Hughes. Someone from the Indiana staff will be.
He will be. Also, I'll talk to you off air. There's somebody else that's going to be in town at a different one that I'm trying desperately to get up there, but I don't know if I can get up there. I wanted to meet him and do maybe a quick interview because I'll talk about it later. Are you in yet?
Am I in for what?
Where are you now?
No, yeah, I'm back in Indy. I got in last night.
Oh, okay.
The flight just got delayed for a full 24 hours. Yeah, so Keegan and I will be at Charlie Hughes this weekend. It's obviously a huge event, but it's very annoying with the. Have you ever been to that one?
Man, I can't remember which ones I've been to and having what's what anymore.
So it obviously tons of teams there, and they have basically takes place between Carmel and Westfield, but they have also like 3 additional venues for it. So in total, there's 5 different venues, all within like a 10-mile or a 10-minute driving radius. It's luckily the schedule that we put together isn't too crazy, but it's not always easy to see a ton of guys there when you got to go from one gym to the next and get in your car, drive over to a different one and stuff like that. But it's obviously a great event.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Andy Moore Honda, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar. Now back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you on this Friday. Anytime you can say Friday, you gotta love it. And I do. Alec Lasley from the Hoosier.com sitting here with me right now. Jim Coyle here as always. Canyon Catchings in for a visit to Indiana a couple of days ago. 2024 kid, one of many in-state prospects that Indiana, I don't want to say has its hooks in, but are definitely making priorities now that they're able to start recruiting the state, that they've been here for a year and to establish the roots that they were not able to do last year. They weren't able to attack the state recruiting wise like they are now and start building these relationships, as Brian Walsh has been doing since he's moved up. And now Jordan Hulls is back, but he has a little advantage because he dealing with high school coaches. I asked someone the other day as a joke. I said, you think any of the high school coaches around here know who he is? And as a joke, of course, he lit him up 10 years ago. So there's an advantage in that way. And he's such a likable guy. You're getting what you get with Jordan. Where sometimes in recruiting, there's some nefarious stuff, nefarious people. But Indiana really seems to have good people in those positions, Alec. Coach Ya as well. All the recruiting just seems to be right now. It might be at a zenith as far as where it has been for such a long time.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and big part of that is one, not only keeping Kenya Hunter on staff when the staff made that transition from Archie to Mike Woodson. That was very significant, not only for the current guys that they had on the roster, but for the guys that they were eventually going to get in Jalen Hood-Schifino, Malik Renault. Obviously, in this class, you look back to Parker Stewart. Main reason, basically the only reason he really came to Indiana was the connection that he had with Kenya Hunter, and then Xavier Johnson, the connection that he had with Kenya Hunter back when he was coaching at Nebraska, where a lot of people forget that Xavier Johnson originally committed there before ultimately going to Pitt, and then making his way to Bloomington. So to start off with Kenya Hunter, keeping him on staff was obviously huge with his ties. You go out and get a young guy in Yazir Osmond who has been around multiple winning programs throughout his career, done a lot also in the Southeast, whether it be camps, whether it be training a lot of these guys that are now coming up. He's had a relationship with Caleb Banks previously. He had a relationship with Ja'Kai Newton previously. He's had a relationship with a lot of these guys who are now coming up in the 23, 24, 25 classes that have now been going on for 10 plus years. And to have that as just a nice addition to what he already brings on the recruiting trail is tremendous in itself. And then obviously being able to elevate Brian Walsh. I think, one of the most underrated now third assistants here, not only in the Big Ten, but the connections that he has in the Midwest is something that I don't think a lot of people realized behind the scenes. But he was the lead, basically getting a lot of these guys to campus in his previous role, now occupied by Jordan Hulls. So the early work that he did to build the relationships with a lot of these guys, he was very significant in getting Gabe Cupps, that recruitment going, ultimately landing him. He was a big reason for that. And so now you add in Jordan Hulls, who obviously hasn't done any sort of recruiting role or position before, but a guy who knows the state just about as well as anyone, already has great relationships, obviously from being a local kid and being a tremendous player himself, but also the relationships that he's built over his time playing professionally as well. It's a tremendous staff that Indiana has that now you can really build on. A lot of these guys are still pretty young, still in kind of those early parts of their careers here. So the connections that they already have at such a kind of young age when it comes to college assistants is pretty tremendous.
Absolutely. And it's just going to be, Assembly Hall is just going to be rocking next year. And not all these games obviously are in Assembly Hall. A lot of these games that we're talking about won't be. Kansas is on the road at the Fog Allen. Arizona is in Las Vegas. Villanova, I don't know. Did Indiana host Gavitt last year? I can't remember.
So I don't believe they were in the Gavitt games last year.
No, they hosted St. John's. They hosted St. John's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that would put them on the road. That could make this a more than formidable schedule with just one of these 4 major games being at home, one being a neutral site, and then 2 would be on the road. It makes this a formidable schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, they're front loading their non-conference, which is what they really didn't have last year, and something that, again, like we talked about in the first segment, something that you not only have to do, but for Indiana, something that is just going to continue to make this team better, especially in a season that they have such high expectations to play these matchups really early on in the season to see what your team is really going to give you. In such the early part of the season before you get into Big Ten play, is just something that Indiana needs to do now each and every year. And obviously, Mike Woodson's wanting to do that with the Empire Classic next year, trying to get Kentucky, trying to get Louisville back on the schedule. So, Indiana's going to be in the middle of a lot of big time non-conference matchups moving forward, something that obviously was very much lacking for much, obviously, of the last decade here almost.
And with Indiana creating this kind of a meaty schedule, they could get to the point where they could, kind of not, in essence, tell Kentucky to, go below. We don't need you. I mean, do we all want the Indiana Kentucky game? Yes. Should it happen? Yes. But you know what? I'm to the point now with Calipari, he can just go kick sand, whatever you want to say, because if Indiana can continue to have this kind of schedule and Kentucky is not doing anything, they're winning games, they're getting big recruits, but they're not winning anything. They haven't, and that's what their fans are expecting. I think Calipari's on the last legs of his tenure there, even though he does have a lifetime contract. But I don't think this game's coming back until he's gone. But regardless of that, it's getting to the point where I'm like, screw you. Especially if Indiana can be successful elsewhere. I think that'll make Kentucky fans really want that game back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to a certain extent, yeah. I mean, I think, just the excitement level around both programs are going in complete opposite directions for the first time in a very long time. A lot of people obviously just kind of seem to be, I don't want to say fed up, but just kind of running its course with the Calipari era in Kentucky, and the talent that they continue to bring in, and just the lack of success that they've had in the NCAA tournament over the last few years. Some of the, I guess, bigger disappointments that the fan base has had, especially with some of those expectations. Obviously, for Indiana, very, very few expectations over the last few years. Now you're seeing that trend in a different direction, but I think I've said this before. I don't think this series is going to come back anytime soon. And like you mentioned, at this point, Indiana doesn't really need the series. I don't think necessarily Kentucky does either. I think it's obviously good for college basketball to get that back on the radar, but I just don't think at this point that it's much of a talking point in really anything that's going to happen while John Calipari's there.
I agree. All right, this week in the Charlie Hughes, we've just kind of briefly touched on it, but I think that this is going to be maybe one of the best events of the summer for Indiana teams, for Indiana players, because most of them are going to be there, if not all. If I'm right, Xavier Booker's going to be there. Is that right?
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of the main top talent here in the state. Xavier Booker, Jalen Harrelson, Canyon Catchings, Trent Sicily, Jack Benter, a lot of the younger guys too. It's a good time for us to go out and see some more 2024, even 2025 guys who are kind of starting to get on that Indiana radar, who are probably going to be big time players here coming up. And it's the first time now for a lot of these younger guys too, who are stepping into a larger role for their high school teams, to really see what these rosters are going to be like. And obviously there's no better basketball high school wise than in Indiana. So this is a tremendous event. It's a huge event. We were talking in the break. It kind of stretches through 5-6 different locations in the Carmel Westfield area. So you can't get better than this weekend when it comes to local high school talent, pretty much anywhere in the country for a 2-3 day event.
Looking forward to that, and looking forward. You can keep up with all of that action at the Hoosier.com live thread. There, you can just go there and follow the guys. They will have that up there all the time. So, also Kanan Catchings, did we talk about his visit already?
Just briefly touched on it. Obviously 2024 guy, 6'7" wing, still trying to mature into his body. From Brownsburg, really young looking guy. If you look at the picture, see him in person, not a physically imposing wing by any standards. Tremendous shooter. Really gotten a lot better over the course of the summer here, in I guess late spring, early summer, and creating off of the dribble. Was more of a standstill shooter, but plays with guys like Trent Sicily and Jalen Harrelson on Indy Heat in the AAU season. So really doesn't have to do a lot creation wise, but really talented guy who I think is really going to start to make a name for himself towards the back end of the summer. Visit went well. Did not get an offer on that visit. Some people thought that the staff would extend that offer, but a guy who Indiana has been in contact with, been recruiting for much of the past year, and will continue to do so. And I think by the end of the summer, if not start of the high school season, he'll get that offer from Indiana. Just visited Purdue and Illinois as well. Picked up a Purdue offer, so starting to really make some noise when it comes to the Big Ten. I would say those are kind of the three programs that are probably going to sit at the top in his recruitment from start to finish. And obviously here we are kind of at the start of his recruitment, and those are the core three at the moment.
I think it was Monday I talked to Kyler about this, but the recent play of what's the kid's name from Western Kentucky that outplayed Gabe Cups at the team camp? Is it
Travis Perry?
Perry. No offer to him, and I think at this late stage, I don't see one coming. And if there is one, I think that he would be a little PO'd that they waited so long after he played the way he has played. But do you think that there's an offer even coming to him in that class?
Yeah, I think. I mean, Indiana's, their main, obviously getting big guys is a main importance for them. But we've seen now the importance and the stress that Mike Woodson puts on getting good guards and getting versatile guards. Really talented scorer. Starting to show that even more on a national level. I believe there was a report out there that he's taken a visit to Kentucky unofficially this weekend. So we'll see kind of what happens there. But he's a guy who's starting to rack up a lot of offers, especially in the Midwest, in the Big Ten as well, some ACC schools. So I do think a scholarship offer will come for him, but I don't think Indiana needs to jump the gun and do that now. Just the fact that they're in on so many point guards and so many guards in the 2024 class already. They don't know exactly what's going to happen with Jalen Hood-Schifino. Obviously, they're going to have CJ Gunn for a few years. You still have Anthony Leal, Trey Galloway. Who knows what happens, with Tamar Bates in terms of how long he's going to end up staying. And you still have Gabe Cups and Ja'Kai Newton. So there's a lot to play out in the backcourt. And, I don't think you need to rush to offer him when they're still in contact with him. He's already been on campus once or twice, one for the team camp and then one for a true unofficial visit. So he'll probably be back to campus in the fall. And I think that's when you'll likely see towards the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall here, when you could potentially see an offer extended.
And the reason we talk so much about the in-state recruiting is you see Ross pointing out 3 Indiana-raised players taken in the first round last night. I doubt any other state can make that claim. And for it to be Indiana, a state that's probably smaller than most, that continues to show the basketball roots here. Jalen Hood-Schifino met with the media yesterday. We'll have those clips later. But you were on that call. I was busy with the Never Lose Hoop golf outing yesterday. What was it like? Having gone down there, like I said, I mentioned this earlier, and I've spoken to him, I've spoken to his mom, interviewed him several times. He's he's going to be like a sophomore coming in. He's a level up. He's already done all this. The media, they do all that down there. They have a marketing department at Montverde. He is. It's like he's already gone through a year of college. Montverde is a prep school. It does prep you, and they prep you properly. Good kids, properly spoken, but his basketball IQ is also extraordinarily just as high. And I think that is going to translate very well to the court.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, listen, we've obviously both had the chance to talk to him in a more, personal one-on-one setting. But the biggest thing with him is just the maturity that he has on and off the floor, the IQ that he has. Everyone's been raving in the early couple weeks of summer workouts just about the IQ and the body that both of these Montverde kids have with Jalen Hurts-Schifino and Malik Renault, that they come in ready. And that's the biggest thing. Even talking to a lot of recruits who do end up switching, a guy like Asa Newell, who is in the class of 2024, the big thing for them was getting their bodies ready for college and being able to produce as freshmen immediately. And that's one thing you see from that program every single year. And there's no question why they pump out the best talent out of high school into college every single year. And you see a lot of guys drafted from that program every single season in the NBA draft, because they prep their kids so well for the next level, obviously on the floor, but they do it more so in a professional manner, where when they get to the college level, they already have that mindset of this is more of a business, more of a professional type mindset, instead of, hey, let's just go around and play a little bit and have fun. Obviously, they still have fun doing it, but their mindset is just they just tick in a much different way than a lot of other kids because they've gone through that key prep throughout their high school years.
Yeah, when I was down there, and the last game that I got to see, there were 10 Division I players on the floor at the same time. So there is not a high school player in the state of Indiana that gets that opportunity during their high school time. They're not going to be on the floor. There's very few high school teams that have 5 Division I players, period. And then to be playing one of that caliber, that just doesn't happen within the state. So that's what they're used to, and playing that upper level. But that's the reason of the difference. But what did you take away from his first meeting with the media?
Yeah, just the confidence that he has to come in and not only compete immediately, but produce. I think we all knew that he was going to come in with that mindset, but he's really looking to shoulder a lot of that leadership ability as a freshman right away and play along Xavier Johnson alongside him in the backcourt. I think he's taking a lot of responsibility to be kind of that missing piece that Indiana didn't have as a secondary ball handler and playmaker last season, something that really hurt them down the stretch, especially if Xavier Johnson missed some time due to foul trouble. So he's taken on a lot of that responsibility, and he knows what's expected of him, but I think he even obviously expects more and is looking to kind of exceed both of those expectations here going into the season.
Well, it's going to be a busy weekend for you, and make sure you give them a follow keep following them on thehoosier.com, as they will have live threads up for everything going on at the Charlie Hughes up in and around northern Indianapolis this weekend. So, Alec, thanks a lot. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter at Al Lasley as well. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
You betcha. Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com, brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar right here in Bloomington. Feast Market Cellar, located next door to Southern Stone on Patterson and Rogers, offers an extensive wine selection with the sommelier on staff, so they can help you with pairing your next dinner or party. Hey, we're back with more. Zach Osterman from the Indy Star joins us as we keep it rolling on this Friday. Back with more on Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore. How's Zach doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, sir. How about yourself?
I'm all right.
Yeah. What happened? Somebody lose?
No, I've had COVID all week.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says that, I'm like, oh, we're still dealing with that.
Yeah, I mean, Audrey's family had a wedding last week, and they asked everybody to test beforehand, but
Jim, you managed to avoid it, right? You've never had it?
I've not had it.
Wow.
And
gave me this
have
black eye for Father's Day, so it's been a week.
your son did.
Yeah, he was around misbehaving, and he wasn't looking at me, but he thrown his head around and just caught me right in the orbital socket. So.
Oh gosh, dang it, brother.
Yeah,
we appreciate your willingness to participate anyway.
I mean, I'm mostly the other side of the COVID now. It's transitioned down to just being kind of sinusy and annoying. Tuesday was pretty
Did it hit
rough.
you hard?
Yeah, for about 24 hours, and then it did just kind of turn into sinuses, cough, sneeze, but just annoying. But it's my turn, so.
I had it back in January, and the onslaught of it, like you were talking about, was very short. But I coughed for about 2 or 3 weeks after the fact, and it was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I just if I can just get this runny nose to go away, that's what's annoying me at this point. So.
IU Athletics establishes new financial academic award for nearly $6,000 for student athletes.
That's the Alston stuff. They announced that yesterday. The Alston case specifically referred to basically claimed the NCAA was limiting sort of post-academic or extra academic opportunities like internships, paid internships and things like that for athletes. And essentially said that schools needed to be providing that. And so in the strictest terms, Alston versus the NCAA just referred to that. And that has kind of created this loophole where schools can offer this money for academic performance. And a lot of them have done it. And I mean, Indiana, I know this is something Indiana has been setting up for a few months. I suspect, I don't know this, but I suspect they just kind of wanted to wait for the new school year to start it and not have it be something that was implemented in the middle of a semester. And then you try to figure out, well, who qualifies and how and all that. But they're not the first to do it.
Get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indy Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Friday, and it is an absolute gorgeous one. I hope you get out this weekend and enjoy yourself. We're joined now by our friend Zach Osterman from the Indy Star, as he has been on sick leave, and we're grateful that he's able to come here today as he's battling through it. Buddy, thanks a lot for being here. I know it's been a rough week.
Yeah, well, coming out the other side of it.
That's always a good place to be. A busy weekend in basketball, busy week for IU, busy announcements coming out. Of course, just here, not moments ago, I guess, the Indiana, North Carolina announcement that a lot of us were hoping for and kind of thought that they were going to do that. And boom, there you go. And now Indiana has the reigning national champion and the runner-up on their schedule all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't think anyone's surprised by this, and I don't think they should be, certainly. It felt like it was moving that way if you look at both leagues, and we know that the ACC Big Ten pairings, that they make an effort to kind of put those together based on, sort of teams, based on finding, teams that are sort of projected at similar spots in their respective leagues. And ultimately, if you look at the ACC, it's not dissimilar, frankly, to the Big Ten in terms of you've got a kind of a clear favorite at the top in North Carolina. But then you go down the list, Duke obviously has talent, but no more Mike Krzyzewski. How does John Shire sort of, ease into that job? Notre Dame's obviously lost a key piece or two. Miami should be good. Wake Forest has lost pieces. Virginia probably better than last year. Virginia Tech, kind of hard to peg. And then you get down to your Florida States, your Syracuse's. And then certainly even kind of teams that at the bottom of the conference that you could argue shouldn't be. But looking at last year, your bottom four were Louisville, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, North Carolina State. I mean, if you're the ACC, you need at least a couple of those programs to stand up. But I know we're not really talking about the ACC. I'm just kind of going on a tangent. Forgive me. The point is, we all kind of expected this, and it's a tough game for Indiana. It is as big of a game as I think they could have drawn, not just in this event, but probably at home, given sort of what was left for them, because they're going to Arizona or Vegas to play Arizona, because this is the year they go to Kansas, whereas next year obviously they'll play Kansas and Bloomington. North Carolina's got Armando Bacot, Caleb Love, RJ Davis, the big three. Leaky Black's a really good player. They just picked up Pete Nance, which I think is one that shouldn't go kind of under the radar. I mean, like when Nance entered the portal, I'm almost certain Trace Jackson Davis was still in the draft. And I remember thinking, like, if Jackson Davis stayed in the draft, Nance might be a guy Indiana should kind of kick the tires on. Obviously, they wound up not needing to, but it is going to be a tough game for Indiana. But, if you're Mike Woodson, this is what you said from the beginning you wanted, with schedules like this. And we may see a Gavitt Games matchup added here. We don't know yet. If we do, I suspect it will be on the road, but it could be another, it could be a Villanova. It could be a Creighton. It could be another program that was really good last year and expects to be really good again this year. Mike Woodson said this is what he wanted. He said he wanted tough non-conference schedules. He wanted Indiana competing at the top end of the sport in a non-conference. Well, he got it. And in a year when expectations are very high and the Big Ten is very uncertain, I think this is a good year to test yourself in November and December. I think it's a good year to have a very clear idea of who and what you are going into conference play, because there's probably going to be a number of teams. Ultimately, I don't think Indiana's going to storm away. Maybe they win the Big Ten, but I'd be shocked if they win it by 4 games or something like that. There's going to be a lot of teams that probably still aren't really sure what they are around Christmas in the Big Ten. Indiana's got a good shot now between what they've got coming back and how much they're going to get tested in the first 2 months of the season to be a team that has a very firm idea of who they are, how they win, where they need to improve, and where their strengths are, and how to accentuate those by Christmas, by the new year. I think that there's a lot of value in this schedule, even if they get a little bit roughed up by it.
And that's very possible because, as I mentioned earlier, there's still the Gavitt Games entrant to put into this, which could be Villanova. And if that turned out to be the case, you're looking at a pre-conference schedule of Kansas, North Carolina, Arizona, and Villanova, with only one of those games being at home. So it is going to be a formidable early season test. But like you said, it will give them, I think it will give them exactly what they need to go into the Big Ten. They weren't as prepared last year, playing Syracuse, the Syracuses, and not playing to their potential. But it's a completely different team this year, and it's going to give them. I just think that the head start that they have with the players coming in, it's a difference because a guy like Jalen Shafino is not a typical freshman, and I think he's going to be able to step in and help. Trace and Xavier and Race and all the experience they have coming back, they just have themselves in a great position to do this now. I told Alec Lasley in the previous segment, had they had this schedule last year, the year before this, it would have just destroyed Indiana. But I think that they're definitely way more prepared for this year.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's clear, frankly. And I don't think you're at all wrong. And again, I mean, this was.
He's froze.
All right. So I think we lost Zach, but we'll get him back on here in a second. But yeah, he'll have to probably drop out and you can just kick him out, John, and let him rejoin. But yeah, so Zach Osterman join us back here in a second. But
Jalen Chavino.
Jalen Hitchfield coming up next, but
Mitchell's up next.
Oh, Mitchell's coming today. Oh, I forgot about that. Mitchell Paige on today. Man, we're going to really finish this out. Holy smokes. Man, Mitchell will be mad. Tell him I forgot about him coming on today. But let's see, 9:45. Let's go ahead and hit a Jalen Hitchfield sound if you want to, John, if he's not coming back. Yesterday, Jalen Hitchfield met with the media for the first time as a Hoosier, and he talked about getting to play alongside Xavier and what that's going to be like in this new offense. Let's hear what JHS had to say.
I mean, the way he wants to play is kind of fits my game perfect. He wants to play fast, get the ball out. And, for me, playing alongside Xavier Johnson, that would be great. I think we both complement each other's games very well. Prior to coming to Indiana, I already had a relationship with Xavier, so we kind of already built that bond. So to get here now and to, practice with him and kind of get a feel for everybody, I think it's going to be great.
Also, and you can just listen to him talk. He's not shy. This guy's a freshman. He's not shy. He's used to dealing with the media. He's used to talking. He is not, and that's confidence. And that confidence carries over. He was also asked about the adjustment of quote unquote high school to college, which I do the quotes because he's not coming from high school. That's a level up. But let's hear what Jalen had to say on that.
Well, for me, playing at the highest level of high school basketball, playing at Montverde Powerhouse, we're playing against some of the top guys in the country. So obviously transitioning from high school to college is definitely a big difference. But for me, honestly, I already had like the body. I work on my game all the time. So really just, some of the small things, just some of the terminology and everything. But I'm pretty much good, just learning every day, learning from the older guys, watching film, and, pretty much that's it.
He's going to be able to step right in and play. And that's special because where he's stepping into is a need for Indiana. They need that guy for Xavier Johnson to be able to play off of. They need that guy to have that confidence and to be able to hold that number 2 spot down, to be able to get the ball. I mean, it's going to be like having 2 point guards on the floor for Indiana, to be honest with you. I mean, I really feel that way. And I think that is a great, I've said this a lot. I think that is the greatest benefit of that is to Xavier because he's not a typical point guard. I think that he has great ability to score off the dribble, to create his own shot, and to hit his own shot. So they are going, I've said it numerous times, I think they're going to be 1A and 1B and 2A and 2B is basically how they're going to be able to play that. And that's going to make life difficult on defenses. So looking forward to seeing that play out. Also, we've got new guys like Caleb Banks, Malik Raynaud. How are they going to fit in as well? What are they going to do? Looking forward to see that. Ed thinks that Caleb Banks will push Geronimo. Well, everyone's going to be pushing everybody. You've got Logan Duncan. He's got to grow up. But Malik Raynaud is in there. They're going to be pushing each other. So Indiana's in the best position they have been in, and I'd have to go back and look. I don't even know how long, as far as the talent and the backup and having a bench that you can count on. So they're in a great position. We've got to take a break. We've got much more coming up. Mitchell Paige is going to join us. Looking forward to that. What are we going to talk about with Mitchell today, John? It's a fun segment. It's supposed to be a Friday fun segment.
We need to get his thoughts on Dustin Schuette's question, his guilty pleasure movies.
Oh, there we go. We'll do that. And see. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Well, we haven't really talked about the draft either. But we'll talk a bit about that. Not that it matters. Mitchell Paige joins us next. Lighten up and take the Friday out on a high note, baby. Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our good friends at Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore and her 2 decades of experience. It could be the difference between you getting the home you want and not. Reach out to her, Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. If you're in Southern Indiana, down by Louisville, Jeffersonville, New Albany, that area, then you need Barbara Pop Real Estate Services. BarbaraPop.com. They have been serving the Southern Indiana area for 3 decades. Reach out to Matt Lincoln, Matt at BarbaraPop.com. We're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting, you can bring Zach back in.
Yeah.
Zach, you don't have to stay too terribly long. Mitchell's with us too.
What's up?
What's up, Mitch?
What happened to your face?
You should see the other guy.
What did you do?
My 4-year-old headbutted me.
Love that story.
Yeah. On Father's Day.
Hey, you'll never walk alone.
I got a black eye and COVID for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, man. He's had a rough
You'll
week.
never walk alone, Mr. Liverpool.
It's been a great week. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Jim. The Roomba unplugged my router and I didn't realize it. So.
That's funny.
Anyway, well, I'll leave you in the capable hands of Mr. Garin Catholic Golf 2000.
Yeah, see, that's the way I want to be introduced from now on. I want to be introduced as the Garin Catholic golfer that couldn't make it to state.
I mean,
why couldn't you make it?
Not bad. I don't know. I mean, his score was better than mine. I did. Garin didn't make it as a team, so I would have to make it individually. And this kid went nuts in my group, right in my face. I think I shot like 74 or 73 at Purgatory. And this kid got 65, something crazy.
I've never played that course, and I don't see me ever playing a course named Purgatory.
It's a lot.
I just thought there's no reason for me to go there.
It's a lot. A lot of bunkers.
All golf
problems.
For me.
Zach, do you play?
Yeah, we've talked about this. Not well, but I play.
Well, no, yeah, none of us play well. Mr. Garin Catholic golfer does.
I have the U.S. Amateur qualifier next week.
Sure.
Are you really?
Yeah, on Wednesday in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I have at least a dozen bright orange max fly balls hidden across the IU course. They're like golden tickets for Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory if you find one.
Yeah, that's all I needed to hear. The max fly is the first knock.
At least one bright orange max
30
fly
seconds.
Ball. All right, get out of here. Sorry about that, Jim.
That's okay, buddy. Thank you so much. Look forward to next week.
Yeah. See you, Mitch. Good to see you.
Hey, man, you too.
Good luck in Raleigh.
Thank you. Heal up.
Jim forgot about you this morning, Mitch.
That's fine. I forgive him.
Well, no, I'm not used to having
That's
Mitchell
right.
on.
Here we go.
It's awesome.
All new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. It is Friday, and it is time to finish with a bang. We've got the greatest golfer ever to come out of Garin Catholic High School,
Not true.
Mitchell Paige, joining us now. former Indiana wide receiver.
What's up?
How you doing, brother?
I'm awesome. It's been a great week.
Wish you could have been here yesterday.
Job and yeah.
I mean, you just started a new job again?
No, my fiance just started a new job and she's loving it. So it's been an awesome week.
Oh, that makes life good for you.
Yes.
I know it's not a wife, but close enough. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yes, we're getting there. Next March.
Next March. Where?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, baby, I'm there.
Yeah, you are. Your invite's in the mail. It's we're gonna be a small event, but yeah.
You know what happens during March, right?
Yeah.
The NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
I'd rather do it then than football season. It's really hot in the summer. So
how about May? Beautiful month. Beautiful marriage month. Nothing.
Price sensitive. Prices went up.
Yeah. It's time to revoke his invite.
Yeah.
You have a date? You have a date?
I was going to invite you. It doesn't matter. I was going to invite you, and now you're giving me a hard time. Listen.
No, I'm just trying to make it all happen, man, because I'm expecting Indiana to be good next year in basketball, to have a better season than they did this year. And I'm expecting them to go to at least the second round of the tournament, which would put us probably 3 weeks deep into March. When is it in March?
End of March, 25th.
It's going to be so close.
If they're playing at noon or 3 or 6,
you'll send your private jet for me.
There will be a TV. Oh, you got to cover it.
Yeah. But you can send your private jet for me.
I better start working harder.
All right. Hey, but speaking of golf, we had the Never Lose Hoop golf outing, which next year you've got to come for. Jordan Hall's Foundation but we'll have that. It's going to be scheduled much better next year as well. But it was a great event, the best they've ever had, raised the most money we've ever had, most golfers ever, over 90 golfers. It was a blast.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna be thanking people for a week. But you are going to try to qualify. You're going to the U.S. Amateur Open in Raleigh, North Carolina for a qualifier.
Right.
Next Wednesday?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll see. My game kind of stinks right now. So cross your fingers.
One day tournament?
So it's the qualifier is 2 days, but there's a cut after the first day. A lot of good players. You had to be below a 2 handicap to even get into it. So it's mostly just a bunch of college golfers in the area, and then a washed up old guy like me.
So you're down under a 2 now, huh?
Yeah. This is about as I'm a 1.8 right now, and it just is. I'm worse than that. I stink. It's not good.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Let's just say this:
you're
I would
freaking 1 handicap and you stink. Or give me a break.
If we were playing on a team, you would not want me. Is all I'm going to say.
Right. I just shot a 94 the other day.
That's pretty good. But if we're playing with handicaps, I haven't played to that handicap in weeks. I can't putt.
Well, I hope you do well, man. I hope that next week we're talking about where. So I'm sure is there another qualifier after that, or is that the only one?
Yeah, this is the regional qualifier, and then I think there's a sectional qualifier if you make it out of this one, kind of similar to the U.S. Open. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure. But then the actual U.S. Amateur is up in the Northeast somewhere, maybe New Jersey, more towards the end of the summer.
Hey, you know what?
Former U.S. Amateur champion Matthew Fitzpatrick is now U.S. Open champion, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Try to follow in his footsteps. He's a little better than me, I think.
He's pretty good. So many young golfers now. Zalatoris. How about that dude? How about Zalatoris though? He's played in what, 8 majors and
coming top 5 like in 6 of them.
Yeah, he's just and runner up. One is a playoff, and the other one he missed a putt by an inch to force a playoff.
Yeah, and he was last year or the year before he was runner up at the Masters as well. It's coming for him. It's coming. That guy just hits his irons way too good. Great
Having
ball.
this discussion yesterday, I don't think it was on this show, or maybe it was. I think, yeah, it was. It was
You're
with
always on the show.
well, but it was with Dustin Schutte. But
Okay.
you know, because everybody talks about the greatest golfer ever. There is it Nicklaus? Is it Woods? I disagree. Not only does Jack Nicklaus have 18 majors, he has 19 runner-up finishes in the majors.
Okay. There's one debate, one answer to all of this. Why do all the players make millions of dollars? Is it because of 18 major Jack Nicklaus? No. It's Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is the greatest player, the greatest face, the most important player in the history of golf. And there'll be never, in my opinion, never anyone that's as important to the game as he was. When he's gone through it a little bit, man, with some injuries and some self-inflicted stuff. The run, and I was young for this, but the run from like 1999, 2001, 2002, he was unbeatable. And then again, 10 years later, after he goes through all of his, completely breaks down his swing and changes it for whatever reason, and then does it again. Now, Jack Nicklaus, great player. I'm sure I never watched him, but I mean, it's impossible to argue with Tiger Woods. I mean, those guys are making millions of dollars because of one player. That's my argument.
Well,
and I'm biased. Because I got
yeah, it's a different age though, man. The marketing was not there back then. All this stuff was not around back then.
Thanks to Tiger Woods.
No, it came along at the right time. Tiger came at the right time, but that's a debate that'll never.
How do you argue? Arnold Palmer's brand is 10 times bigger than Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, baloney! Just
He
because
had a chance to blow it up, and he just didn't. He missed the Golden Bear, the worst irons ever made. My mom actually had a pair of those irons. That's the only. I don't even know. I don't know if they're good or not. That was a little aggressive. I'm sorry, but
Pete says it was a much deeper and tougher field when Woods made his run, and today it's probably even deeper and tougher. And that's probably true because you got guys that can beat you that you have probably never heard of, or people are going to win, and you're like, who's that? Who's that guy?
Thanks to who? Who made it cool to play golf?
Oh, man, come on. They just got good.
Who made it cool? Answer.
Why was it not cool already?
Who made it cool for all these young kids to play golf?
Here's what I want them to do for golf. Make the hole 1 inch bigger. Not for those guys, for the everyday player. Make the putting hole 1 inch, just 1 inch. That changes. Jack Nicklaus suggested that a long time ago, but that would be great for the everyday player.
And then you could just kick a soccer ball in there.
Oh, 1 inch, man. You know how many putts we had go by that missed by 1 inch yesterday?
Why didn't you read 1 inch one way or the other?
Pete's a Tiger guy for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, you know, I didn't tell you this. I used to live right down the road from Fuzzy Zeller, like a mile and a half down the road.
He's got an awesome golf course in Southern Indiana, Covered Bridge. I love that place. I've never played the other one, but I know
Champions Point as well.
Yeah.
One of only 2 people to win the Masters in their first attempt.
It's crazy.
You know who the other one was?
Tiger Woods.
No, but I don't know his name, but it was the first time the tournament was held.
Oh, so somebody like Francis Ouimet's brother.
The point is, whoever won that was going to be that person, but Fuzzy is the only person.
Oh, I got you.
Fuzzy is the only person since then, I believe, to win it in his first attempt. Also won the U.S. Open in the same year. So
he seems like a really cool guy too.
He is just funny, and his brother lives right. His brother lives very close to me. So
is he still making that vodka, Fuzzy's?
They're still making it. Fuzzy's vodka is still out there, man. It definitely is.
You got to get him to come on the show.
He's been on before.
I picked his brain. ask him some golf questions. Why I stink at golf. Does he still play? You know?
He doesn't. He's had back issues, I think. And,
Yeah.
Well, he had back issues from basketball in high school. I remember a story that he got undercut in a game and hurt his back, and that he had back issues that whole time. So, and back issues in golf, not good.
No, that makes it tough. I like Balin's comment here. Happy Gilmore made it cool because he absolutely did.
Hey, I had Happy Gilmore on my team yesterday. Steve Burden. This dude uses his driver out of the fairway successfully and uses his putter from as far away as 80 feet in the fairway. Hit it. I'm not successfully. And I used it after I saw him do it because it worked, because he had a shot he had to keep down, threw it some trees. It was beautiful. I'm like, oh my God. I would have never thought to do that. And it works great. I'm like, you got to think sometimes, because you get into bad positions. You got to get credit. How am I going to get out of this? Because every club lifts the ball except for the putter.
Yeah. I think it's always so interesting to watch guys like that in any sport that are just kind of artists, right? I would argue that I'm more kind of a machine. Like, I'm very mechanical. This is the way I see the shot. This is the way I hit the shot. When you can just create stuff, like Tiger Woods is an extreme example compared to this guy. But when you're seeing shots like that and you're like, well, this just makes sense. It's cool to watch those guys play because it's so starkly different from the way that I see.
Fitzpatrick, who just won the U.S. Open, the shot he had on 18 after he hit his drive into the bunker.
Yeah,
he hits a shot out of the bunker onto the green.
I heard him talking about that shot. Actually, he was going through it with his caddy, and they were just trying to hit it left side of the green. And if it drew a little bit, he'd have a lot of room. It's like to fade the ball never even crossed my mind. I haven't hit a fade in months. And he said he hit it, and it came out of the bunker, started going left to right. And in his mind, he made it. He was like, oh, my God, I made it. I won. It's crazy to listen to him talk about it.
It is. Ross says he saw where a Michigan golfer shot a 55, including a front nine 25. Was that on?
I saw that. He had 3 eagles on the front nine. He made 2 pars and shot 25.
I mean, is that for real? That's got to be on an easy course.
I don't know. I'll pull it up. I saw it on Twitter this morning. Just insane.
Got to be an easy course.
Getting the ball, you still got to hit it in the hole. I bet it's not 1 inch wider holes.
We're fortunate to have so many golfers that listen to the show. I know Pete's a big golfer. Forrest is a golfer. We had Jennifer and her crew. Hey, man, she brought a team of 4 girls. They were only 5 over. And the course is not what you would call easy.
No, that place beat me up when I would play there in college. It's tough. A lot of uneven lies, elevation change. That's good. What was the winning score?
13 under.
Okay, so nobody's really cheating there. This is good.
No. Yeah, it was. My team was 1 under. We were 1 under. We were just a par machine yesterday. We could not get putts to drop. I mean, we couldn't get close enough. We always had 12, 15 foot birdie putts, but we had so many that were just. I had one that lipped out. On the same hole, we had 3 that were within an inch. It's like, gee whiz. But that's the difference between PGA players and me.
Did Jordan get to play Jordan Holes, or did he
did not get to play this year because he had to work during the day. He will next year because it'll be scheduled different. It was unfortunately inadvertently scheduled on the last day of Mike Whitson's basketball camp. But Anthony Leal was out there. Matt Roth played in the event.
A legend. One of the all-time favorite players. That guy had no business in the Big Ten.
You need to play golf with him.
I'm sure he can play.
Yeah.
Slow, methodical, just a killer.
And he's also the head coach at high school head basketball coach now. I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I just saw that on. I'm a big Twitter guy, so I saw that on Twitter. But John, the producer's on here, so I assume we got to take a break.
Look, Mitchell, look at
I've
Mitch.
listened to the show before.
He's got it. He knows it.
He's a professional. He's a pro, baby.
He's about to be associate producer.
He's got it, man. He's right too.
Part-time host, full-time dummy.
Hey, baby, make sure you sign up for the Wild Club. Go to your Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Start earning free apps and rewards, or free rewards and dining dollars discounts today, and VIP invites for things like yesterday. Come out to Never Holes shooting, golf outing, all kinds of stuff we'll be doing. But make sure you join the Wild Club. Go down and visit places like Courtroom Sports Grill down in Bedford as well, where they make everything from scratch each and every day. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting...
Jim, it sounded like you just had a stroke trying to say never lose hoop.
I thought the same thing.
Get too much.
He's just trying to say it all at once.
Yeah, got too much coming out, man. I'm like just free, just spitfiring.
Yeah.
Good. Who was on your floor yesterday? This guy named Steve. Who else?
Who on my team? Oh, some guys that live here. That just live here. Charlie McClure wanted those other two guys help him out a lot. He lives in Florida half the time, so he put the team together. So Charlie McClure, thank you to him for he sponsored our team.
Nice.
But Steve, my man Steve, he got him some new clubs. He's a little guy.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. It's that doesn't look particularly, but he doesn't look particularly athletic. Walks up to doesn't take practice swings. Walks up. I mean, not that he doesn't hit a bad shot here and there because it's not going where he needed to go, but generally not the case. And I'm like, I just shake my head, man. He just walks up and hits the ball and I'm like, how does he do that? And he does it and hits it well.
This is for post-production purposes. Were you all debating Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I knew Tiger Woods was a part of it. I couldn't think of who the other person was. See, that's the problem. Tiger Woods, I'm with Mitchell. Tiger Woods is just recognizably
That's because you barely know who Jack Nicklaus is.
That's not true. I can name you 5 golfers right now, I think. Not including the 2 that we already said. Arnold Palmer, Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka. I'll give you more. Bubba Watson.
Those are all today guys.
Don't say
it has to be old guys.
Well, give me somebody that's not playing today. Phil
Mickelson's still playing, but he's older.
Tom Watson.
Not you. I want John to.
See, but I won't be able to give you older players. I don't think so.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, you don't know the impact. That's what I'm saying. And
Tiger Woods is still the impact, though.
But
he made golf cool.
He's the needle.
Who are all the video games named after? Tiger Woods.
They didn't have video games that Jack Nicklaus was playing, man.
Yes, they did.
They only had 3 TV stations.
It don't matter. Jack Nicklaus had no it factor. None.
He won the
See, when I think of Jack Nicklaus,
he was beating guys like David Toms.
He was beating Arnold Palmer.
David Toms is after him, but
Tom Watson.
Good player. That's 2.
Oh my God. Fuzzy
I'm
Zeller.
thinking of the dude from The Shining. What's his name? That's who I keep thinking of when you say Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. All right, here we go.
You want the truth?
The station every week, Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
I do want to say that.
Welcome back. We're with our great friend of the program, Mitchell Paige, as he joins us each and every Friday to start off the weekend as a party. It's what he does, baby. He brings the party. What's your new job your fiance has?
She's actually working at Sands Investment Group as well. She's in marketing. So she's just right across the hallway over there.
Well, that just does makes that just convenient, doesn't it?
It's the best. Get to ride to work together every day. Look at that beautiful logo up top.
Now you guys sell all over the country though, right? You're different.
All over. Yep. Got a couple listings in Indiana now. All kinds of any kind of commercial real estate, retail, office, medical, gas station, kind of whatever you got. We don't really do multifamily as much, but we've done it before. We actually just closed on one. So, we're just doing simple things from just evaluation for your site all the way up to, selling it, 1031 exchanging, and leverage up and increase the cash flow. We're doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, awesome. You ought to be selling those vacation homes down there in Charleston, South Carolina, man. That's a place to visit. I've never been there. I cannot wait to get down there at some point. I hope you don't move before I get there, but
nah, I'll be here.
It's just I've just heard how beautiful that it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's busy now. There's a lot of traffic, but it is awesome. Actually getting to play golf this evening. Funny story, when I was doing medical sales up in Indy, we had an orthopedic surgeon up in Anderson that we used to work with, and I went to Vienna, kind of lost touch with him, and found out that he got a job down here. So I'm going to play with him and his new DJO rep. So the guy doing what I used to do. So it'll be fun today.
Well, that's awesome. Awesome to see. Let's see. Indiana's playing North Carolina coming up in Bloomington.
Yeah, it'll be that'll be.
You were probably in school the last time they played, I believe. No, that was in 2017. So you were out by 15, but they played them twice in this ACC Big Ten Challenge, and they've handled them both times. In 2017, they beat North Carolina 76-67, but then back in 2013, they just smoked number 14, North Carolina 83-59.
Yeah.
But 2017, I think, was the game in which afterwards Roy Williams said, gosh, man, that crowd. Well, I wish we had a crowd like that in North Carolina for games other than Duke. And he just raved about the crowd. Well, It's going to be just like that again, because North Carolina was number 3 in 2017. They'll be possibly number 1 this time. So
this is a little different North Carolina team than we've seen in a long time. Hopefully a little different Indiana team as well. It's what a schedule Woodson's put together. These kids better grow up pretty quick, because did Arizona get finalized on the schedule? I know they're messing around with that. So it is on the schedule. So they got the 2 national
Arizona. Yeah. You got the two teams from last year's championship game.
And not late in the season. This is
this is December, now, baby. This is all in December.
Yes.
December is going to be a tough but fun month for Indiana basketball, as we're waiting for the Gavitt game schedule to come out. That could potentially have Indiana playing Villanova. So you could potentially
is that the hardest schedule by a mile in the whole country?
It will step up there. I think the Big Ten is going to be down a little bit.
So that'll hurt them. Well, at least non-conference. I mean, fans have been begging, like, let's get some wins that matter. Help us at the end of the season. It appears the athletic department has listened, because wow, that's I can't believe how in your face that is. But there's a lot of experience on the team, man. I think they've rightfully earned the expected best overall team in Indiana or in the Big Ten, and we're going to find out real early how good those freshmen are. We know what we're going to get from Trace. Dominance. Love watching him play. But those young kids, if they can even be 75% as good as we hope, we're in good hands.
Absolutely. And I think Trace Jackson Davis he's returning with a purpose.
Exactly. That's the most powerful thing you can have. If he was just coming back just to practice and try to get some more tape and wasn't really invested in what they were trying to do, but that doesn't seem to be the case at all. It seems like this is, he came back to hopefully develop a jump shot and get a little better, but this kind of seems like something that he wants to do for the university, for the team, and that's a dangerous combination.
Absolutely. Let's see. I don't know what that one is, Michael. So have to pull that one
off air.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be fun. You're going to have to come in for some games, brother. It's going to be too exciting, especially if they have a weekend game. Man, we got you set up here. We got the post game show. Oh yeah, you come in and do some post game shows. Oh, that would be awesome.
You guys are pretty set on that still, though, right? You got somebody that actually understands basketball.
That's not the point, man. It's about having fun and just.
I can bring that.
Going over what we saw.
I can bring that.
But no, I'll have other people on as always that are what I call the experts.
We'll get some football games as well. I think in the month of October. I think it's up to October, maybe 1 or 2. So we'll have to get together for that as well.
Absolutely. We'll have big parties there with all the WOW crowd, all the restaurants. We'll have all kinds of food. So that's what that is. November 30th, they're playing. Oh, wow. So that's not in December. Gee whiz.
Right in your face. That's like the second game of the season.
Man, I mean, you talk about getting after it. When's the first game? It's got to be in what, mid-November?
I think it's literally like the second or third game of the season.
That is rough, but that's no different than going over to the Maui Invitational, and those are the teams that you're going to play in that.
If you want to be relevant, you got to play the teams that are relevant.
Hey, they're having to play you.
Yeah.
So it's the same for everybody, except for football next season, Mitchell. Indiana at a disadvantage. I think we talked about this last week, but they opened with Illinois. That's not the disadvantage. The disadvantage is Illinois is going to have played a game the week before that. Yeah. That is a gigantic advantage for them.
Yeah, it always seems to shake out that way for the football Hoosiers. There's always something that they're trying to fight, and it's a huge advantage. I prefer to look at it like they'll be fresh and play with some excitement. We'll see, but that schedule's tough like always. It's nice to see the basketball program catch up to the football program because it seems like we're playing 3 of the top 10 teams in the country every year. So, and now we've got Cincinnati that's apparently just going to reload and at Cincinnati, so it's going to be even tougher.
Jennifer says she thinks she's going to has a feeling she's going to be selling a lot of her tickets this year, which means she doesn't think that it's going to be as fun as they would like it to be. It's going to be it's going to be interesting. I have no idea what to expect because we've seen nothing, and we've talked about this. I think I saw where Connor Bazelak is going to the Manning Academy. He's one of 45 quarterbacks going to there, so that's got to be good for him. I'm expecting him to be the starter. That's nothing that I've been told, so I'm not.
He has to be.
But
we know what else is on the roster. He has to be.
He just has starting experience in more games. He's played in the SEC. He threw for 2,500 yards last year. He's going to have to be the starter without question. Jack, no offense to Jack, but I think he's had the opportunities and he just hasn't. Now he got hurt last year, but he played hard against Wisconsin the year before that. But I just haven't seen him do things that make me think that he's going to be the guy.
Yeah. I'm praying for if we can get 75% as good as Nate Sudfeld was. We don't need him to throw as good a ball, but we need to be able to be somewhat of a threat 15 yards down the field. I mean, I would hate to see the stat of how many plays over 15 yards we had last year. And if you're banging for 8 a run and throwing for 10, okay. But the problem is I bet their rushing average over the course of the season was like 2.1 and probably average less than a first down throwing. So there has to be some kind of vertical threat. You can't just have these defenses that are extremely fast and physical being able to play right up on the line, bumping receivers because they don't believe the line will hold long enough for the quarterback and the receiver to link up on even a stop route, which is a 3-step drop. It's out in 1 second. I saw that kid is top 10 left tackle. I have no idea who that is. Hopefully he can.
Talk about Matt Bedford?
No, it's the other kid. It's the other kid.
Okay.
He was like a top 10 draft tackle or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know who that is. I would grade the offensive line at an F last year. If we can pray to get to a C-, I think we have a chance.
Just open a hole, man. Just open a hole. Give Basilak the time to throw the ball.
We were so good on offense when I was there, and I would say even before I started playing, and you had guys like Shane Wynn, Cody Latimer, Kofi Hughes, Wheezy, Nick Stoner, speed on the outside. That was all created because you had guys like Jason Spriggs and Colin Rarig and Dan Feeney and Wes Rogers and Jacob Bate, like names down this list of guys that were just big and physical and athletic up front. And sorry if you can hear my dog growling. He's barking. Oh, there he is. Do you hear him?
Yes, of course. You talked to him. I forgot. Yeah. What's his name? Dog's
Franklin.
name?
Franklin the dog. I'm gonna get him. It's almost time to go. It's about to be the weekend. We'll get a little pub.
Give him a little pub there. I've got my dog list is not together. I've got to get the dog list together. I'm trying to get a list of everybody that comments on where they're from, because I love seeing JC on here today from New Hampshire. That's our first one from way up in the Northeast, man. Love that. So thanks, JC. We appreciate you. Well, we appreciate everybody. But just I love got somebody Brian's in Lafayette. I'm trying to look for some Georgias. Pete's up in Minneapolis, Kentucky's, of course, all over Indiana. College Station, Texas, I like that. But you guys are awesome. Appreciate what you got coming up this weekend, man. You practicing for you better be practicing.
Yeah, we're gonna be hitting it hard. Starting this evening, tomorrow. Actually, probably going out to Myrtle Beach to celebrate.
Franklin says yes.
Yeah, first week on the job, play some golf in the morning. Oh, dude, relax. Just for like 2 more minutes. Thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be golf filled. Get some dinner, maybe play some Top Golf in Myrtle. It's fun stuff. A lot of stuff to do.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to. I'm going to do as little as possible. My ankle got you weren't on earlier. We were pulling up to a hole, and I was anticipating stepping out of the cart, and I had my foot kind of sticking out. He wasn't paying attention, and he runs us into the curb, and it just took my foot under. The cart kept going, and it just took my foot under, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And we still had like 11 holes to play, and I'm like. And it kind of stopped hurting, and I should have wrapped it and iced it last night when I got home finally, because it was hours afterwards. I didn't. I woke up this morning, I could not walk. But it's it. Franklin's telling the story, baby. He's had a good week. He's ready to go out and see the beach, maybe.
Yeah, he's we're taking him with us, I think, this weekend. So we'll be running around on the golf course. We're gonna wear him out.
Is he gonna do some putting?
No, he's a freeloader. He comes to work with me every day and hasn't made a single phone call, hasn't answered an email, hasn't done nothing. He's a freeloader.
Man.
All this food, fun, exercise, nothing.
Oh, hey, Arch Manning going to Texas. We didn't talk about that. We're almost out of time.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Maybe he saw Quinn Ewers and thinks that he stinks.
NIL, man. You've got to hear the NIL story. I haven't heard.
You don't need that.
There's going to be but it's not about need. It's about liking and wanting and being wanted the most.
You don't think he was getting wanted from Georgia or Alabama the same way he was getting wanted at Texas? You're crazy.
I don't know. I think he may have been wanted more at Texas. I don't know. Texas, a lot of oil money, baby.
Yeah, I don't think that was an NIL deal. I think that was a.
I don't think he was ever going to Alabama.
No. Or what was it, LSU or Ole Miss or whoever it was?
No.
He was getting paid, I'm sure.
Where did Eli play? Mississippi State?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. So,
Ole Miss, yeah.
And then Tennessee, he probably wanted to go someplace and make his own mark.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which
I get.
Going to do.
And Austin, Texas ain't a bad city.
Franklin's, he's loving it, man. Well, brother, I hope you have some great practice this weekend and have a great weekend. And I hope Franklin enjoys himself too.
Yeah, Frank. Good boy.
Well, buddy, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week.
We can't. Looking forward to it, brother. As always.
That's 40 minutes of my week.
You make it great for us, brother. It's a great way to start the weekend.
Absolutely. With that, love you guys. It's the best.
Love you back, man. Make sure if you're looking for a place, no matter where it is, do you have his info to throw up there real quick, John?
I have the logo, but that's all I have.
Okay, we have to go into that brand. It's in the brand deal, I think.
If you got if you got any questions, I'll say my email address real quick on here. It's just my name, Mitchell @SIG up in the corner, SIG. And Mitchell @SIGNNN.com. If anybody's got questions, comments, concerns about the market, I'm happy to talk to anybody. It's what I do all day, so we'll be happy to help.
I'm trying to write it. Mitchell @SIG.
SIG.
We gotta go. We'll get it later.
Boom.
Done. Love it.
There you go. Hey, thanks a lot for everybody. We appreciate you. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank everybody that helped and participated in the Never Lose Hoop. I'll make sure I'll throw shout outs, get the pictures out next week. Big thanks to Dustin, to Alec, to Zach, to Mitchell, and to John, the producer, for helping, as always, making the show great. Most importantly, thanks to you guys. It was all great when as always. Have a great weekend. Until Monday, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports